Welcome to another G-Force Influencer interview. I have the privilege and honor of interviewing the Jerremy Newsome, people. This is the one and only Jerremy Newsome, who is personally making me way wealthier. Thank you so much for opening my eyes. He is a G-Force member. He gets on our calls every week and tells us the down and dirty about how to build wealth for good using the asset class of stocks. So Jerremy, you're amazing. I'm going to tell you all a little bit more about him. This man is a bottle of energy, and he has such a zeal for life. He's one of my new favoriteest people in the world, and I'm so happy to have you. So over the last 6 years, Jerremy has built a reputation as one of the foremost pioneers in fiscal therapy. I have you explain that in a little bit.
Yep.
His vigor and drive for helping communities, families, and individuals grow their financial literacy is second to none. Jerremy was able to create and launch a company called Real Life Trading back in November 2014. This starting point has allowed him to assist and enrich tens of thousands of lives while also growing the company organically to a 7-figure business. Congratulations, Jerremy.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're amazing.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Tell me a little bit more about fiscal therapy. What is
fiscal therapy? You know, it kind of happened by accident because I work with a lot of traders from all over the world, kind of like on a one-on-one basis. And a lot of times what I'll end up doing is just talking them through their thoughts and processes about money is what it eventually came down to. Like I got a text like 3 hours ago from a coaching student. His name is Lauren, lives in Canada. And he was like, hey man, I just increased my trades. Like he was doing really good for the last 3 months and he increased his risk level. He's like, well, I started the month down. Why is that? And so I'm thinking, well, it could be because you're now thinking more about the money than the process, right? You're making it about the money. And that's kind of what happened is it just randomly started becoming a thing where I would talk to people about their beliefs and thoughts about money more than specifically anything else.
Ooh, interesting. Yeah. So your beliefs and thoughts about money, does that really affect your ability to make money in your opinion?
100%, without question. Absolutely. Yeah. I think it's Britnie, I would say it's the thing at some juncture for 99.9999% of people.
It's not luck, it's your thoughts.
It's not luck, it's your thoughts. Yes, to a degree, because if you do get lucky and win the lottery, you will lose it. I mean, 98%, I think 98, 96% of people who win the lottery go broke within 5 years. So it's not luck and it's not the money. It's literally your thoughts and perceptions and beliefs about currency itself.
What's the fastest way to take your negative thoughts about money and transform them to actually be something that serves you?
That is a phenomenal question. The fastest way initially is scaring yourself horrifically and then writing down what thoughts and beliefs come up during that time and then working yourself through it. Example would be, let's say you're in a spot where you've never given or donated a comma before. So you've maybe you've gone to church and you've done $20 or $100, or, you know, you've gone to a homeless shelter or a school, something where you can truly give and feel amazing about it, but you've done it in your comfort zone. 500, 600, try 7,000 and just see like what happens to your brain. Like, do you get terrified and why? Are you scared, or are you in a place of abundance or in a place of scarcity? Are you extremely happy, or are you pulling back a little bit? And that is a great moment, great time to really find out how you can start shifting and making that happen.
Interesting. Man, I'm jumping completely around here because I'm fascinated by this. I want to hear, when did you make your shift? And tell us a little bit more about your background.
Absolutely. So I started making my shift, and there was 2 specific moments. Nationwide insurance. I used to work at Nationwide. I was a insurance guy. So that was the first like big boy job I got with a 401k and all that when I turned 18. And the 2 big shifts. Number 1 shift was I had a 401k. I was contributing to it every paycheck, and Nationwide was contributing 6% as well. So I was saving 12% of my money every paycheck. 3.5 years into it, I learned how to do what's called a self-directed 401k. So I took the time to go, all right, I'm making money. This is cool, but how can I do a little bit better? And I did a self-directed 401k, which actually almost anyone can do, but it gives you the ability to get out of all the stuff that they put you in. You're in cash and you can trade whatever you want. So I bought some silver stocks. It was First Majestic Silver, ticker symbol AG. And so this wasn't by, again, luck. It was me knowing that silver is a thing and probably going to go up in value at some point. So I bought it at $9 and some change. $12 and some change, and it went up to $15, and then I sold it. So I made $3 per share, but I bought 1,000 shares. So I made $3,000, which at the time was more than I got paid at work. So that was like a massive shift for me.
I'm sure.
Yeah, no one had ever told that it was possible for me to make more money in the stock market than working. And I didn't actually have to work for that money. And that whole process took hours, right? Hours of time, 2 or 3 hours of time to make that amount of money. And then over here, I'm working 40 hours a week for less than that. Big, crazy shift. The second one, I was elected as a certain program, and I got the opportunity, which I'm very thankful for, to do a job interview with the CHO, Chief Human Resource Officer of Nationwide. So this woman, she was the top person when it comes to hiring. She was it. So she would do these interviews, and she asked me, what do you want to be in Nationwide? Like, what's your goal? What's your objective? And I told her I wanted to be CEO. And she laughed at me. It wasn't like a nice laugh. It was just like, you're funny. Like, you're a sarcastic person. I like that. And I was like, I'm 100% serious. And she didn't take me seriously. Not only that, she was like, well, since that's not going to happen, what's another thing that you think you can do? And I was like, well, honestly, if I can't be CEO, I don't really know why I'm working here.
Oh my gosh, what'd she say?
She was like, well, there's plenty of other things that you can do. Let's talk about other things you can do and what other lines of work you can accomplish. And so she diverted the question well. But ever since then, I was like, if I can't be in a position where I can get to use my vision and my beliefs and my energies and my dreams to help other people, I don't want to do this.
So you decided to do your own thing.
Yeah. So those are two big moments for me when I was at work doing the normal thing that normal people do. It's about increasing your skill sets and really understanding what your skill set is and not being afraid of it, because usually the skill set that you probably are best at, you normally doubt yourself on the most. So here's a question for you, Britnie. What do you think is your number one skill set?
My number one skill set is finding the highest and best use of something.
Oh, nice.
And
Give me
so
an example.
I see it in people. I can see what they can be into seconds. And I can see like, oh, well, if you just sharpened the way you talk about this, or if you just understand really why you wake up in the morning, and if you allow people to be part of what you're doing, like you can really have a bigger impact. So I can see it in people. I can see it in any place. So I can walk down a street of any neighborhood and understand if we just clean up the trash, if we just add the sidewalks, add some street lighting, or just start fixing it up in these 5 things or these 25 things, depending on which area you're in, can allow it to be a safer, more walkable, more community focused place to exist. And so I just can see the potential of things as if they were. That's my number one skill set. In 2020, we've experienced a pandemic and a whole bunch of other things. And something we talk about a lot in G-Force is just the abundance of opportunity in theory. So I want to ask you, Mr. Stock Pro, has there been opportunity that you've seen in the stock market due to this? I mean, even with a pandemic, have you still been able to make money and do well?
Yes. There will always be opportunities in the stock market. That's one of the reasons why I accidentally chose it, is I did not fully realize how many opportunities, but there's more money-making opportunities every day than I could take advantage of in a lifetime. And every day I'm missing out on billions of dollars that's just flowing through the market because there's that much. And I just want to try to snag some of it. There's just so much circulating. And more is being created every day.
I love that. So I feel the same way about real estate. I started my career, I bought my first house in 2007 at the end of
Yeah.
2007.
Yeah.
And I started dedicating my life to learning this 2008, 2009, 2010. It really didn't get better in our market until like 2012, 13.
Yeah.
And it's something I love that you say is you can make money when it's going up. You can make money when it's going down, backwards, sideways, all
Sure.
around. I think it might be a little easier doing that in stocks because it's less like, I don't know, heavy, physical, tangible, and it doesn't, it can change a little faster, and it's just harder to make those big shifts in real estate. But I made money when we were running our comps on different houses, and we realized that, well, in the 5 weeks it's going to take us to renovate this house, the market will have dropped by 30 grand in this neighborhood. How do you think about it? It's just the way we ran our numbers because we weren't scared of it. We just knew that there's a different formula. And why do you think people, I'm just going to go deep here. Why do you think people overcomplicate and make money this really big, spiritual, overwhelming, elusive thing? Is it because it's just never talked about, or what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's 100% it. I think it's not openly talked about realistically. And when you're talking about the four things that control this entire world: religion, politics, sex, and money. Those four things are generally kind of like, more or less hush hush, unless you're a professional at it. And I'm not a professional. I don't know anything about those four things. So why should I talk about it? It's like all four of those things control your life dramatically. Like that's 99% of your life are those four things. So in my view of the world, and I think you're absolutely right. We just are not educated on it for a very long time, because up until, I would say, 200 years ago, it wasn't necessarily as fluid as it is right now. And your biggest concern wasn't money. Your biggest concern was living. So now living is easy. Like you can live, like you're going to live for a while. And now you just have to solve the money problem. And if you solve the money problem, you can live longer.
Ooh, I like it. That's good. It's really not as complicated. That, I think, was my biggest awakening from going from where, completely broke, living in my car, and just, I had it in my head that no matter what, I couldn't make more than $2,000 a month. Like that was the cap. Doesn't matter how hard I worked, how many jobs I worked, I wouldn't make more than $2,000 a month. And my realization, it was just that it's not that difficult. You just have to learn the pieces and put them together. Stop being emotional about it. Just put the pieces together. And that's what I love about your money grows on trees concept, which is it's just not that hard, right?
Exactly. I mean, when I was 7 or so, when I was 6 years old, that was the income, the resources, the skills that I had. I just kind of naturally blended it all together to make money to buy shares of Apple because of the movie Forrest Gump. It was like, yeah, well, Forrest is doing it. I want to do it because he doesn't have to worry about money anymore. Really? And I don't want to have to worry about money anymore. So I went and picked blackberries and sold them door to door. Right. And that was my natural gift, is I've never really been afraid of rejection. So I will go and ask questions, talk to people. I don't really care.
That's an amazing gift.
I'll go and do that. So selling the blackberries, $1 a bag, undercutting the supermarkets was not a bad idea. And plus, I'm 6 years old, no shirt, no shoes, and jean shorts. Like, I'm going to close you.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny.
The big realization around age 20, and unfortunately it took me that long to get this math down, but one of the realizations as it applies to the stock market is, if you buy 1,000 shares of anything and it goes up $1, you will make $1,000. That math just, it almost scares people, because they're like, well, wait a minute, what if it goes down? It's like, yeah, absolutely. So if it goes down 50 cents or goes up $2, like, you have a risk and then you have a reward. It's true math. Like, it works all the time, forever. It's incredible, because there's a lot of stocks right now. You're in some of this. Norwegian Cruise Lines went from $10 to $17 in the last 2 weeks. So my question to a lot of people is, all right, so Norwegian at 10, could it go to 0? Absolutely. Like for sure it could. Rare chance, but it's possible. Like sure, anything can happen in the stock market. But Norwegian Cruise Lines, it's a good company. I like them. You like them. You've probably been on a cruise. I've been on a cruise with them. I think they're fun. I'm going to go again when I get the opportunity. Therefore, buying them at 10, if I go, all right, worst case scenario, I'll buy 1,000 shares. It goes to 0, I'm out 10 grand. Not being afraid of that risk because it's calculated and planned is what most people do not do. Most people go, yeah, I think I want to do it, but I don't know how much or why. And so they just kind of go in. But most humans need certainty. So if you can create certainty with a plan, with some numbers, with some math and some metrics, and you go, yep, the chances of it going to 0 is probably 2%, at least in the next month. And I buy 1,000 shares, spend $10,000, and now it's worth $1,750. You made $7,500 in 2.5 weeks. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So what are the greatest changes that you've made between now and let's say a few months ago? Like what shifts have happened in your life specifically since the virus situation? Let's just go with 2020 happened.
Yep.
What was shifted in you?
I'm going to drop an honesty bomb for a moment. So you and I were on a webinar like an hour and a half ago. And you're like, hey, Jeremy, you still here with me? Like, what's up? What are you doing? I got in a text from a cousin of mine, was like, hey man, I noticed you've changed a lot recently. Why is that? Like, I don't like the person you're becoming. A lot of people don't think that you're becoming a good person. Why is that? That was pretty much the text message, like almost verbatim. And I was just like,
The heck?
oh man, because that is one of my biggest fears, is not being remembered, but also being judged for my own greatness. And I think a lot of people, Marianne Williamson says, it's not our fear that we are going to fail, but it's our fear that we become powerful beyond all measure. That's our greatest fear. That's my biggest fear, is that I can become so powerful that I hold myself back. So a year ago, I quit drinking. And that was a thing that I was doing subconsciously. I thought that alcohol was fun, a way to relax, a way to party, a way to hang out with friends. But really what I did is I drank subconsciously so that I could limit myself and stop and stop eating my own growth, because I wanted to become so phenomenally powerful, but everyone around me drank. So I was like, well, I'm just going to do what they do so that I don't stand out from the crowd, so they don't judge me, so that I don't become super, super powerful.
Yeah.
That was like an insanely monumental breakthrough. Once I realized that was the case, I was like, well, I'm just going to stop drinking then.
Wow.
And at this point in time, I'm not entirely sober. I will have a glass of wine once a week if the opportunity arises. But if I'm training for something, I just don't drink. Because once I realized that aspect of my life and my subconscious beliefs, it was so much easier just to give it up and just stop. So that was a huge change for me personally. And still I'm getting, and I'm going to always receive those messages from people or family or friends, like, you're changing. It's like, baby girl, keep watching it, because it's going to keep happening. I'm going to lose all of my family if I have to. Whatever happens, like, I'm going to create other families and other friendships and other partnerships and growth. If you want to come with me, come on, because a lot of my family will. And if you won't, that's all right, because it's going to happen anyway, because I know I'm amazing. At the beginning of this webinar, you said I'm amazing, and thank you for that. But I am. Like, I spend so much time and energy helping people, and a lot of people are afraid to admit their own greatness. They're scared because they're going to get judged, because a lot of the people around them aren't that great, and they feel like they're better than that person, but you're not. You're just on a different path. Just because that person's on a path of growth and progress and prosperity like you are, doesn't mean that it's the wrong path. It's just their path. So be okay with it. Embrace them. Love them for whatever they want to do, but do what you want to do as great as you can possibly do it.
That is so true. Oh my gosh. You just made me think, okay, what am I doing that's like that? And I'm like, I have a whole list of stuff that hides my greatness. Why? Because I want to have friends. And it's like, why are you hanging out with peasant friends?
Yeah.
Why are you doing that? Why do you think you need these kinds of friends? And I think that's one of the top the rise to success issues is it's almost like clockwork. It's like, all right, people are like, you wake up like, I need more out of life. I can do more. I can help more. I can be more. Why not be this person I really want to become that I'm capable of? So you start to wake up and you start to change your habits. Then everybody starts testing you and saying, who are you? Who are you? Are you really this person? Da, 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 da. And then you have to prove, am I this person? Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Okay. And it takes a long time. But when you brought that up, I'm like, I think one of my things is I almost feel I've had a very hard journey, but I almost feel like if it's not horrible, I didn't deserve it. Does that make sense?
Oh, it makes tons of sense.
It has been horrible.
Yeah.
It really has. I'm not going to lie. It's been horrible. Most of the time, this has been a really tough journey.
Yeah.
And I think it's because first of all, I didn't trust my gut and I would allow greedy people to stay around instead of just knowing that they're bad. Just leave them. If you're a give operating person, then don't hang out with greed operating system people. Yeah. So I don't know. You woke me up. I'm going off on a tangent.
Well, the reason I brought it up is because I also want to say thank you for being a good enough friend where you're like calling me out of my BS. Like, hey, bro, pay attention. We got stuff to do. So thank you for that. Because really, yeah, you're right. Like I need to be in it. I was just like, really? Like you're going to text me that right this moment. Like, that's so interesting because I'm posting a lot of things on Facebook because I'm crushing it right now. Like the whole not drinking thing. I can wake up at 5 a.m. after going to sleep at 2 a.m. No problem. It's harder when you're drunk.
Absolutely.
I hate hangovers. So not having a hangover is phenomenal. All right. It gives me so much time and energy. And by the way, when I drank, I still had this much energy, but I just wasn't as happy because it was just a depressant. I mean, that's what it does is it literally depresses you. And, I had some experiences with drugs as well. And it just doesn't make me fully and truly and serendipitously pleased and happy. So I just started cutting all of those things out of my life. And like you mentioned, Britnie, it is so ultimately terrifying to say, listen, person, I don't want you in my life anymore because I don't value the same things that you value. I'm not saying that you're a bad person. I'm just saying that I'm going on down a different path. And that could be relationships. That could be husband and wives. That could be moms and dads. That could be brothers and sisters. That could be all kinds of things. And I'm not going to go massively into it in this particular session, but that was the first 24 years of my life. Right? The first 24 years of my life, I grew up in a Christian cult. And I had all of these subconscious beliefs like pounded into my brain about death and morbidness and things that all the people aren't going to make it and just all this horrific, terrible events that are going to unfold that never are going to unfold. So it's not going to happen because God is love. So God's not going to allow all those bad, terrible, frustratingly awful things to occur to 99% of the planet. Once I started really breaking through that, oh man, my wings have started to get spread and I'm just having a blast pushing my body and my mind and my business and my friends and my team to see where we can go, what we can do together.
I love it. And I'm excited to be one of those people on your team.
You are
there to change it.
You're amazing.
We're going to be doing a full podcast together, people. This is going to be awesome. We're calling it From Broke to Woke. It's going to be so good. And it's going to be an expansion of this.
It's going to be so good. I'm just so excited about it because you don't know the things I've written down on some of my journals and lists and plans. I love doing podcasts. It's one of my favorite things. And I love doing it with people that excite me, that are smarter than I am, that are richer than I am, stronger than I am, faster than I am. I think you're all those things, right?
Thank you.
I'm taller than you. I got that one thing down.
Boom. I'm 6'3", so
ladies and gentlemen, you got to surround yourself with people who just ignite the very core of your beliefs and push you to past your greatness to where you're terrified, where you're scared. And worried that you're not going to make it, get around those people and be afraid, be terrified, get in some fear, some pain, embrace it, and you will grow. Growth will happen.
I call it picking your village. So if you are going to be, everybody knows the equals of everybody around you, blah, blah, blah. You're going to be the average of the 5 closest people around you. Then pick your village. And if your subconscious is constantly going to tell you, you need the approval of these people, then friggin' pick your village. So I remember it was actually not too long ago. I was at one of the wealthiest people in the world's home. And I felt like such a peasant. I had to like go sit in a room by myself, and it was fine. It wasn't about money, but it was like this is like top 10 wealthiest people in the world. And the kind of ideas and the culture and like the innovation and all these things. And I was like, I sat in a room by myself and I prayed, and it's God just said, I'm the one who qualifies you, not things, not businesses, not innovations. And so your foundation's got to be in the right place. I was resetting mine, but then after I was like depressed for a minute. I had all these like rushes of emotion. I'm like, what are you doing, Britnie? But then it just snapped. It broke off of me, and it was like, this is possible. I went through this like range of emotions of like, I'm not enough. And then it went to, now this is possible. You can do this too. You can do this too. And it wasn't about wealth. It was about the bridge that these people were creating for humanity.
Right. Bingo.
It was so amazing. They were taking so many resources and helping people who have nothing all over the world.
Right.
And it was like one family, really one person, which has become one family. And my gosh, what you can do with more resources if you recognize this has never been about stuff. You can't take anything with you, so it's all BS. It's all fake. Yeah. Money's fake, stocks are fake, it's all fake. Work it so that you can use it for whatever you want.
Exactly.
Which
Totally
should
agree.
Be for good.
Both the king and the pawn get put in the same box at the end of the game.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah. I love that.
Chinese proverb. I can't steal that. But I appreciate you sharing that story with me, because I've been in that situation so many times, not with the top 10 richest person specifically, but just people in general, where I always go, I don't feel good enough. I don't feel rich enough. I don't feel smart enough. Why am I even here? And it's because if you are invited or around or there for not you or me, but anyone who's watching or listening, if you are in that room that makes you feel uncomfortable, it's because you have some kind of value that person appreciates. So own it. Like, you're there for a reason. Maybe you just simply make that person smile and laugh, and that's it. Well, cool. I know a lot of really rich comedians. Okay. Like, do it. Be okay with whatever that skill and that value is. And that's kind of the whole money grows on trees concept, is you can have and create whatever skill you want and figure out how to amplify it and use that skill for ultimate good for others.
What do you suggest a beginner who has never traded before, but is excited about the opportunity of potentially getting into trading? It's a scary thing. You feel like you can just lose it all. You don't know what all these words are.
Yeah.
What do you suggest to the newbies? Books?
There's going to be 2 or 3 suggestions, but one of them is just get some type of education and get a foundation of just general knowledge. I created a beginner's program that's entirely free for that reason. So at this point in time, I did it. I've put in manpower and women power and resources and time and people and teams to build a phenomenal course. All my education is actually free. So I create what's called a freemium model, where everything is free. And if you want to pay for really, really, really active high-end stuff, cool. But it's all free. So I did that because I love to see what people's expressions of confusion are. And I go, yeah, it's free. So what's your excuse now?
Oh,
doesn't cost you any money. It's going to cost you some time. So buckle down. That's my first suggestion, is just get a little bit of education. When I did it, it was my boss at Nationwide. His name was Rob Gwynn, and love that guy. I always give him a shout out on almost every podcast because he impacted my life. He told me a little bit about how the stock market works when I needed it. And that motivated me to learn more. Books, right? If you want to go get a book, go get some books. Learn a little bit about, if it has the word stock market, or money in it. One of the books that I do think a lot of people should read is Money Master the Game by Tony Robbins. It's a very stock market, grow yourself, figure out how to create the best version of you monetarily type of book. And I think it's a very valuable resource. I'm a pretty big Tony Robbins fan in general. So I think that's a great resource. And just start. So go to my website. It's called reallifetrading.com. And just click on that beginners tab. As soon as you log in, it'll say, hey, it's free. Click on it and just start watching it. And once you watch it, I will walk you through the whole create a broker, log in, start placing some trades. This is how, because it's not that scary. A lot of individuals initially think if they invest in something, they're going to lose all their money. It's very, very hard to do. Like you can lose some, but initially to lose all of your money, you have to do something dramatically wrong. And I don't even know what it would be, honestly, because most brokers aren't going to give you the approval level for certain instruments where you can lose all your money. There are strategies out there where you could, it's roulette, right? Red or black. Like there's definitely strategies out there where you can do that, but you're not going to get access to them. Like no one here watching this is going to get access to those strategies unless you really, really try. Like you got to fill out a form that's like, yep, I'm gonna lose all my money. Let's do this. So I think if you are afraid of that, don't be. That's just a common misconception. The stock market is not gambling because you cannot lose all of your money from one day to the next on a stock purchase.
How do you think our new normal, from this pandemic will affect the stock market now and long term?
Long term, the next one's going to be bad. So this was the flash. This was a flash crash.
What?
5, 8, or 13 years from now, the next one will be a little bit worse. So be prepared for that. I will be prepared. I'll help as many people as I can be prepared. But the next one will be a little bit worse. Yeah. Because this one was, oh, what the heck? But it's rallying. I mean, we're all the way back to the highs, more or less, on almost everything. The broader markets, at least. So the next one will be a little bit worse. Prepare yourself for that. That's just my opinion, of course. And it's a professional opinion, but it's still my opinion. The new normal going forward, there will absolutely be changes. I don't think it's going to impact the stock market in a negative way. I simply think that you're going to want to focus on companies that are going to make more money from people being at home, whatever those companies are. So Facebook, #no-brainer. Okay. They own Instagram and WhatsApp and tons of other companies, and millions of people are going to be on them every single day. Netflix, I mean, yes, absolutely. Apple, of course. Zoom, sure. Work, ticker symbol WORK, which is Slack. Yes, why not? When we start focusing on these new companies, I think for the next 5 or 6 years, there's always cycles. You mentioned earlier, Britnie, oil. Yeah, it stopped being cool a while ago. So there's going to be cycles where these things are cool and then they stop becoming cool, and that's okay. And then we start flipping into something else, and these tides and cycles will occur. But for the most part, focus on companies that are going to make money from people being at home.
So what do you think the blessings in disguise have been from this whole thing?
I love this blessing in disguise. I mean, people are getting so much more time to spend time with their family and kids, their family, husbands and wives, kids, family, friends. You're staying at home, which is what most people want to do anyway. 99% of the people I talk to are like, I would just love to trade the stock market full time and not have to go to work. Well, you can do that now.
99% of the people he knows are real country.
I only work with super Southern people. Generally though, yeah, most people want to work from home full time and be home with their family. So it's like, all right, well, here's your opportunity. Let's do it.
I think that people have had a real opportunity to reset and ask themselves, what matters most in life? What do I really want? What doesn't matter that I thought mattered? What do I need to drop? What expenses are no longer important? All that stuff.
Agreed.
All right. Last question for you, sir.
Okay. Let's hear it.
How do you think people can be a force for good during this time?
The way people can be a force for good is by realizing that life is love, is an expression of love. Be as loving as you can. Understand that everyone's going to have challenges and struggles that you're not going to be aware of, and it's okay. Figure out a way to either give people a virtual hug or a giant smile shine a bright light of positivity into their life, because that is a force for good. There's no one in my entire life that's ever been like, hey, Jerremy, I hate your smile and your hugs. Leave me alone. So be as happy as you can. This is your time and opportunity to just embrace and embark on your own journey and your own path of light and love for the world.
You are amazing, sir. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
You're
Thank
the
you
best.
everyone for being here.
We're going to put all the links in the bottom here. You guys follow us. We're going to have a podcast coming out soon. Jerremy, you're the best. Follow everything he does. Read all his stuff. It's amazing. You're amazing. Have a great day.
Thank you, guys.